Dear viewers, greetings. We begin another chapter of Today in the Military World. In this edition, we will address the movement of 10,000 Polish soldiers towards the border with Belarus and the concerning interpretation that this event could escalate international tensions, risking an escalation towards a conflict of global proportions. On August 10th, the Polish Minister of Defense, Mariusz Błaszczak, formalized the deployment of 10,000 Polish soldiers to the Belarusian border. Out of this contingent, 4,000 will reinforce the ranks of border agents already stationed in the region, while another 6,000 will be strategically positioned in rear bases, ready for action in case of emergencies at the border. However, what is the motivation behind this move? Why is Poland, a key player in NATO's Central Europe, so uneasy about Belarus? And why does this military movement raise concerns about a potential trigger for the Third World War? Over the years, Belarus, ruled by dictator Alexander Lukashenko for almost 3 decades, has progressively heightened tension with Poland. This escalation has been accompanied by provocative actions, especially through the exploitation of innocent refugees from conflict zones such as Syria and Iraq. After crossing Russia with the permission of Vladimir Putin and being directed to Belarus, these refugees are escorted by Belarusian police to the Polish border, where they are forcibly made to enter the neighboring country. In response to this tactic, Poland has been compelled to establish defensive infrastructure along hundreds of kilometers of its border, with high-tech surveillance systems and a significant force to intercept and detain refugees sent by the Belarusian police. The situation is exacerbated by the recent exile of Wagner Group mercenaries, led by Prigozhin, to Belarus after an armed rebellion attempt in Russia. Lukashenko welcomed these mercenaries into decommissioned Belarusian army bases. Although Lukashenko claims that these mercenaries will act as instructors for the Belarusian army, many analysts speculate about their real purpose. There is a possibility that Putin might use these mercenaries to provoke NATO members on Belarusian borders, conducting swift attacks in border areas or even a concentrated attack on the Suwalki corridor, a passage separating Russian territory from Belarusian territory. As these mercenaries belong to a private company, Putin and Lukashenko can claim not to have operational control over their actions, making direct retaliations from Poland against Belarus challenging. However, the significant mobilization of Polish troops suggests that the country is preparing to deal with this situation. As some analysts point out, Poland is positioning itself to directly respond to any forthcoming aggression from Belarus across the border, regardless of the origin. This implies that even if Putin uses Wagner Group mercenaries in Belarus to attack targets in Poland or Baltic countries, Poland might disregard Putin's and Lukashenko's justifications, claiming lack of control over these mercenaries, and retaliate directly on Belarusian territory with its force of 10,000 soldiers on the border. Poland's stance raises fears of a potential increase in the risk of a global conflict. In such a scenario, if the conflict were to materialize, Russia, in alliance with Belarus, could directly respond against Poland, attributing the attacks to mercenaries under Putin's direct control. This could trigger Article 5 of the alliance, obliging members to provide military assistance to a member under attack. From this perspective, a scenario involving Russia, Belarus, and a collective NATO alliance could, according to many analysts, lead to a major and direct military confrontation among the world's major military powers. Poland, in recent years, has stood out among European countries for its significant efforts in strengthening its defense. Its ambitions include impressive acquisitions such as 1,000 state-of-the-art South Korean armored vehicles and howitzers, over 300 M1A2 Abrams tanks, including the most advanced SEPV-3 version, 5th-generation F-35 stealth fighters, 96 Apache attack helicopters, and nearly 500 HIMARS launchers, which have posed a challenge to Russian forces in Ukraine. Although this fortification process began before the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the start of that conflict accelerated and intensified these efforts. This is particularly noteworthy given the direct proximity between Belarus, a state influenced by Vladimir Putin, and Poland,